Welcome back to Oakhill, folks. In today's video we're going to be pushing through to spring. Ground's frozen, so it's too cold to do any work, and you really don't need to see me do 4 days of feeding and selling cows. And so just topping up the cows' water and taking the first load off to the animal market. Before I jump ahead to spring, we're going to do a few bits around the farm and you'll get to see those. As usual, we're making about £30,000 profit from the first load of cows, and some inconsiderate person has left an IBC of herbicide up at the store. Really should pick that up at some point. So we've got another fairly full trailer to take back up to the store. I had a bit of a pause as I was recording there, and I forgot that I filled the animals water up before we went up to the store last time. So we made a fairly healthy £70,000 profit on that, roughly. Pretty happy with that, and it's going to fund our next purchase. Sadly, the Keenan is not big enough now that we're up in the kind of 400 head of cattle, so we're going to sell that off for £28,000, and we're going to invest in a Pecan Mega Mixer. I used this on Sandy Bay, those of you that watched that series. Yeah, it holds 64,000 litres. I'm not sure why it didn't load in the store, but that's why we brought the Magnum up, because this thing is a big beast to tow around. So that's left us with about £7,000 in the bank, having cost us £115,000. The next job before we can mix some feed up is we need to get some of the maize silage bales that we left down by the field that we harvested last year. Now, they've been sat down there a while fermenting. I really need to get those all moved up. It's getting through bales fairly quickly now. So we'll get these unloaded and we'll mix some TMR up. The new mixer will take 16 standard size bales, which is what I've been making on here. My plan is to put 14 in, and then about 8,000 litres of the whole crop silage that the cows throw out when they're eating. Beet and barley while we have it. At some point we may have to go to just putting in more bales. Depends how we get on with the sugar beets lasting. I really wish I'd kept some of the carrots that we harvested now. We made those choices back then. So yeah, so far we're going for a shovel of beets, a shovel of barley, and whatever WCS we got off the floor. And we'll then switch over to loading up bales. We're going to start with 8 bales of grass silage. As I've been doing on most of the mixes on here, there's going to be 50% grass silage because we have a lot of grass silage. We're then going to go for 2 bales of maize silage. In fact, I think we go for 3. 2 bales of clover silage. That extra maize silage bale, and then we're going to grab a hay bale. Probably going to need to make more hay next year as well. We need a little bit more sugar beet in there to get the mix right. We need it to be full for the grass to only be 50%. Didn't take much. Now we need to try and get this thing into the feed alley, which is not trivial because it's huge, and we need to have it on the Magnum because it's huge and it's heavy. I think it needs high 200 horsepower. But the last job we're going to do on the farm before we push to spring is finally get something to wash the kit. The American hose by OK Used Mods. Yes, it's American, but hey. The other problem we're going to encounter soon is running out of straw because we don't have much left. And through the magic of YouTube, it's springtime. We've basically been buying, selling and feeding cattle. You can see that our cattle costs have mostly been covered by the cost of selling cows and the BGA. We did have to borrow some money for Saturday's cows. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good. We're up to 439 cows. And we're now off to take the first load of spring up to the store to sell. Spelt's looking good. Pasture grass hasn't really changed over winter. So we made a little bit of money over winter, and we're now making obviously about £30,000 profit again from selling cows. So you'll see I load up a slightly underweight cow to take up to the store because I thought I needed to buy another full load, but I actually need to buy 15, which we can afford with the cash we have. So that guy ends up coming back to the farm for another day or so. Once we've got these guys unloaded, we can make a start on the field work, and we're going to jump in the 1455 and take the rollers out and break up the compost we spread on field 64. Actually, it wasn't compost, it was slurry, wasn't it? Yeah, it was slurry we spread. Yeah, they should just work that slurry into the ground a little bit and break up any crust from having been frozen over the winter time. We've only got a couple of fields left to get crops into. We've got this one and we've got the big field 70 next to us. Unfortunately, they both need the ground temps to be about 5 degrees, and we're sitting at just above freezing at the moment. So we need to wait for those to come up, and probably be a day, maybe more. It's kind of frustrating. It's annoying that I didn't get this field is going to have spelt in it, which would have been nice to plant before winter, obviously. So that's this field sorted. We're going to move on to some contractoring next. I don't want to put our crops in the ground when it's this cold, but other farmers seem happy to pay us too. So we're going to actually get the cultivator running on the 1455 and do some cultivating contracts with that. So we'll stick this guy on course plate and get him running. And we're going to jump in the Magnum with the seeder. I didn't realise I had a 6 metre seeder. I probably didn't need to rent the 8 metre one I used to plant the pasture grass. We have a bunch of seeds that we're not going to be using this year because I've massively cut down our crop rotation. So we're only running 3 crops plus the grass now. So we have all sorts of seeds that we can use to raise some money with. So we're going to do that. Yeah, I totally forgot that we upgraded the seeder from the 4 metre one. Don't get old, folks. It's not good. Something I'm really tempted to do with this map is to sort it so that we don't get sugarcane planted like we have in the field over there that the 1455 is cultivating in, and it just doesn't look right. Anyway, we're nearly done on this one. In fact, we are done. We'll claim that, and we're going to pick up another contract. I'm basically going to run these until we run out of the spare seed, or until I'm not confident we can finish a contract. And I'm seeing some bits of the map we haven't been to before, which is quite cool, or I don't remember going to. I'm going to run course plate on this one because I want to jump in the Maxim and get the planter on the front, because we have a load of sunflower seed contracts and we have a pallet, well, most of a pallet of sunflower seeds. And again, we're not doing sunflowers this year, so might as well turn them into some cash. Obviously, we had the Maxim set up for weed spraying, but with the cold winter we've had, the weeds are all gone. So I'm not sure if we're going to need to spray those or not, whether they'll come back. So we've put the jewels back on. The planter without the box on the front is a bit unwieldy. But we'll load these sunflower seeds up and we're going to head off and make some money. So we're up in field 2, which I don't think I've ever been to on the map. Fields 1 and 2 are kind of tucked away up in the corner. Quite a big field. I think it pays about $3 for this contract, which is not bad because we use about half of the seeds we've got in here. So a quarter of a pallet of seeds and a bit of diesel turns into £3,000. So just finishing this contract up, and then I am going to do one more and then we're going to call it a night. So at this point I will say thank you for watching, folks. All the usual things like subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends if you haven't and they like Farm Sim. And I will catch you next time, everyone.